Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here, then you should know that I post a lot of content on career tips, lifestyle, and my personal interest, aka gist. If you are interested in learning how to perfectly answer the most popular interview question, tell me about yourself, then you should stick around to the very end of this video. And if this sounds like something you definitely want to hear more about, plus other things that are related to interviews, job applications, career tips, then you should go on to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. This interview question can be very tricky. Tell me about yourself. A lot of people don't understand this question. They don't know how to answer this question, what structure to follow, what the interviewers are really looking out for. Some people think it's really about them. I get it. Tell me about yourself in the literal sense means tell me about you, but that's not what this is really about. Now, when you think about this question, when you think about answering this question, I want you to think about it from three angles. The first thing is, what is the need for the company? What is the value that you're bringing to the company? Why should they hire you? That is really what they want to hear. It is not about your family history. It's not about your family tree or just your hobbies. It's really about what you can do, what you have done. So you definitely want to focus a little bit more. Actually, you want to focus a lot more on your value proposition. What are you bringing to this company that you've applied to? It's one thing to wonder for yourself, oh, what is the need from me too? But guess what? You already know that at least 80% or 70% of that just from the job application, what you've read, the research you've done about their culture, everything that you've researched about the company kind of gives you an idea of what is in it for you. But guess what? The company doesn't know anything about you other than what is in your resume. So this is the point where you demonstrate what your CV has said, what your CV said you can do, pretty much why they shortlisted you. So this is where you want to focus on getting in there and sharing why you are the best fit for the second thing you want to keep in mind is, how do I keep these interviewers engaged? How do I make my communication engaging such that they want to hear more from me? So it's one thing to communicate your value, but the how you do it is so critical. The way that you deliver your message, the way that you deliver that communication of your value, of what you can do, your strengths, etc. It's so critical. So you want to make sure that the way that you communicate, it's clear, it's concise, and more importantly, it has the keywords that you know that they are looking for. If you remember, if you watched my last video on CV writing tips, then you remember that I spoke a lot about buzzwords, about using the keywords that are relevant or associated with the company. The same applies in this question. When you're answering this question, you definitely want to use the keywords that will get them thinking, this person is definitely sounding great. Can I see a fit? Is this a fit? You're getting them to wonder so much more about what you can do, what you've been saying, etc. The third thing you want to think about is the timing. You want to manage time effectively. I said earlier that this is not a time to talk about yourself. So you want to be very mindful that the format or the structure in which you answer this question just puts you within a great balance of time. So don't talk too little. At the same time, don't talk too much. Because one, when you talk too much, you can bore the interviewer. You would literally, like, they lose you or you lose them during the interview. So you want to avoid talking for too long. You want to make sure your communication is clear, straight to the point, but at the same time, it has enough details for them to leverage and wonder just a little bit more about you. Now, if you talk for too little, that's also a problem because like, is that it? Is that all? Like, you want to make them know that, hey, I'm ready, I'm prepared, I'm here for this job, and I'm going to share as much information as I think that you need. These are the three elements you need to first consider when thinking about answering this question or when even drafting your interview scripts. or pre-interview. Now, let's dive into how you can truly answer this question. The first three things I mentioned are the things I believe you should have at the back of your mind when thinking about answering this question. Now, the format or structure to which you answer this question is equally as important. So the first thing you need to do or think about when you're thinking about format, structure, what you're going to say is communicating your actual value. So this is a true demonstration of your abilities, of your capabilities, of your skills. It's one thing to list out the long list of skills you probably listed out on your resume. It's another thing to demonstrate how you've done these things. Now, demonstration doesn't mean that you're actually doing the work there. You're just demonstrating how you've done it by speaking to examples of how you've leveraged X skill set or ABC skill set, and this is what you did. But more importantly, you are focusing on impact, not activity. A lot of people confuse their duties to be impact, right? Or like the outcome. Your duties, responsibilities, these are things that your interviewers already know. If I see a resume of a recruiter, for instance, of course I know what that person does, but it's how they've done it and what level of impact they've made to the different organizations that they've worked with. That's what truly matters. You should focus on the outcome, the results, and how these different results and outcome helped the company in achieving a desired goal or objective. That is super critical. Nobody's looking to hire people who are just going to plug and play and not really add value to the organization. So you definitely want to reflect before you go for an interview. What have I done and what was the value? You might not even know how important the work that you've done is, but that in itself is a red flag, and that's why you need to really do some self-evaluation for before an interview. So I'll give a quick example to put things into better perspective. So I could use a salesperson or a recruiter, right? So if you're a recruiter, I know that what you do is find talent, hire people, but how have these people or how has the hiring of these people helped the organization achieve their goals? I mean, if it's to hire, many people can hire, but how solid are these hires that you've made and what was their impact because of what you did? So if you had a target to hire 400 people in 2020 and you hired all these 400 people, there was a reason why the company needed these 400 people. So you want to communicate in that way where you're saying something like, I hired 400 engineers needed to make X amount of revenue for the company or meet the company's goals of XYZ. So you want to think in that format. If you reduced turnover, for instance, you also want to say how you did it, not the steps that you took, right? You're talking about your work, the role that you played, and the outcome of the role that you played. The second step I'll share is talk about your strengths. Do not just talk about your strength from a perspective of, oh, I have these skills, I have that skill. You want to talk about them based on how you have leveraged these different skill sets or these different strengths of yours to do your work, and how, if it's interpersonal skills, if it's like, don't just say the things that everyone else says. You want to personalize them to your work. So outside of this is the work that I did, which is the first step. This is the work that I did. This was the outcome. Now talk about your strengths and your skills and whatever qualifications that you have and how these things have helped you in achieving the desired result for your organization. The third thing you want to do is share why you are interested in this job and how you plan to add value by leveraging all the skills, the experience, the qualifications and strengths that you highlighted earlier, right? You want to make sure that you understand that everybody applies to a job because they want or need a job. So by default, the employers are thinking, well, you probably want this job, that's why you applied. But the actual why behind your wanting this job or needing this job, let's stick to the want aspect. The actual why you applied to this job is what makes you stand out, is what makes it specific and unique to you. So you want to explain to them how you plan to leverage all of these skill sets. And this is a great opportunity to truly stand out from the rest of the applicants who also applied to the same job. Finally, you can wrap it up by saying to them that you'd like to know if they have any specific questions for you that can help you better narrow your skills, your experience, your strengths, qualifications, etc. to this job and how you can truly fulfill their needs. Because If a job is out there, there's a need. Whatever the need is, there is a need. So I'll summarize this really quickly. The first step is communicating your value. Think impact, impact, impact. And the second step is highlighting your strengths. What are your strengths and how have you leveraged this to get your job done? The third thing is restating or stating why you are interested in this job. And the fourth and final step is putting it back to them to ask you any specific questions that they may have or anything at all that they may like to know. It is my hope that this video was helpful to you. If yes, please go on to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and ensure to share this video with as many people as you can possibly share with. In the meantime, stay safe and take care, and I will see you in my next video.